Hello there, Cougar Academy Algebra 2B, and welcome to how do you evaluate and perform operations with functions? And this is Algebra 2B, that's 7.4 in our notes here. So, filling the table with the function operations. We're going to look at a few different things here, remembering first how to simply evaluate functions. So, basically, we have two functions here. We have Fred and Gary, we'll call them. F of x is 5x plus 1, and g of x is x squared plus 2x. Remember, when you're evaluating functions, it is as easy as substituting the value in and solving. That's all you're doing is putting negative 4 in for x. So this is going to be negative 20 plus 1, which is negative 19. That is the answer. Okay, this is just notation. Just notation. You don't need to divide or anything else. So the answer is negative 19. That is it. Similarly, for g of negative 4, you would be substituting negative 4 in parentheses plus 2 times negative 4. Parentheses are very important. So parentheses. And you would have 16 minus 8, if you do them in the calculator, which is going to be 8. If you don't use parentheses, you will not get that answer. So use parentheses. Okay, so that is a rundown of evaluating. The newer stuff today is we're going to be adding the functions together, eventually composing them. Not like music, but coming up next lesson. So pretty much f of x plus g of x, we're just adding the functions together. So we're taking f of x, which is 5x plus 1. I'll highlight it with blue here. And we are simply adding that to the other function, g of x, x plus 2, x squared plus 2x, sorry. Sometimes I like to put brackets around these just to know that they are functions. And you're simply adding the like terms. So 5x would add to the other 2x. We'd have x squared plus 7x plus 1, bada bing. We can call that our new function, h of x. No big deal if you don't. But that's it, okay? Adding like terms. Subtraction, you're probably guessing, is going to be similar. There's a little curveball with subtraction because we're subtracting an entire quantity. An entire quantity. So that means you have to distribute a negative, making it negative x squared minus 2x, and combined the like terms in that manner. So negative x squared plus 3x plus 1 is our result for subtraction. Multiplication and division, pretty much same idea. We're going to be multiplying the functions together. So some of our older skills may come into play, like with this one. So the first function, f times the second function, FOIL is back. So 5x times x squared is 5x to the third. Outers plus 10x squared. Inners plus x squared. And lasts plus 2x. Combine the like terms, makes it 5x to the third plus 10x squared. 11x squared, sorry. 11x squared plus 2x. So multiplication, don't be afraid of it. Division, don't be afraid of it either, especially with this one. You're simply putting the functions on top of one another in the order specified. And with these ones, there's actually no more simplifying that needs to be done. Both of these are done because you can't reduce anything. Remember, it's tempting to want to be able to cancel out these x's, but you can't unless they all share it. So you are done at this point. Okay, if you need to write that down, pause. Otherwise, we'll get into some more challenging stuff on the next page. Okay, now these two functions, you should get in the habit of remembering square root of x is the same thing as x to the 1/2. So remember, those are the same thing. It's going to help us in a moment here. Just practice evaluating. F of negative 5 is just 8 times negative 5, which is negative 40. And g of negative 5 is going to be the square root of negative 5, which there are no real answers. Remember, you cannot take the square root of a negative. Okay? Now, where it's more important is adding, subtracting the functions. So we're simply adding the two functions together in this first spot. You can leave it with the square root. Nothing's going to happen, though. Done. Okay? They are different radicals, so nothing can combine. Same thing with subtraction. Nothing can happen. Done. It gets more interesting with multiplication. Multiplication, we're going to, again, think of the x to the 1/2 power. Now, this is where our stuff from before comes into play, because you would add those exponents. So we're looking at 8 to the 3/2, well, x to the 3/2, as our new function. Similarly, with division, remember that we subtract the exponents. Keep forgetting the x. So it's 8x to the 1/2 power. And the trickiest for this type is when we do that backwards, because you want to think of the 8 as a 1/8. That is going to stay the same. And we are going to have x to the 1/2 minus 1, negative 1/2, which remember makes a fraction. So 1/8 x to the 1/2. So all those little things, these are the trickier ones for today. Okay, just want to go through one more set of examples with you. Again, feel free to pause, go back if you need to. Practicing evaluating, remember with x squared, very important, use parentheses. So 16 for f of negative 4, 3 times negative 4 squared plus 5 is going to be 3 times 16 plus 5. And I don't know that off the top of my head. 3 times 16 plus 5 is 53. So get in the habit of those. Adding the functions together, let's see what happens. So x squared plus 3x squared plus 5. So combining like terms is 4x squared plus 5. Subtraction, x squared minus the quantity, so minus the whole function, is going to be negative 2x squared minus 5, because this would be negative 3x minus 5. Multiplication, x squared, 3x to the second plus 5 is going to be 3x to the 4th plus 5x squared. And division, lastly, these ones actually are pretty easy. They are not going to break down anymore. You would be done in both those cases. Okay, so get used to those. Try out the practice problems. They're pretty similar. Go back, rewatch these notes if you have to, get any examples down.